And I still remember like sitting outside the Pond and Clean community centre crying, not wanting to go in. It all got a bit much really, and I was training up to like Welsh squad training in the days and stuff. I was getting a bit injured. It was a bit later, like 18 I think. I met a few guys who did MMA, like Ricky Wright. So Ricky Wright, I met him a month before my first fight. So I met him and Denzel. I say we've literally fought to clear ourselves of that sort of those negative, that when people say, "Oh, you're a cage fighter," I'm like, no. I always tell people this. I said, I know the future. And it's like, oh, how? I said, because I know the future. I know what's going to happen because I'm gonna work for it. You know, you need. I don't think you need a manager. You just need a good coach that understands the game and be able to navigate you through it and stuff. Yeah, especially like stuff like weight cutting, you know. And then a few hours after, I was having like a pain in my chest. You know? I was like, thought I was having a heart attack.
Hey guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, another episode of my story. I am delighted to be joined by Bellator MMA welterweight. It is Mr. Lewis Footlong.
Boom. How's it
Welcome,
going?
my friend. You alright or what?
Yeah, bad, tired.
Always tired.
Always
mate.
tired.
It's part of getting old, that is.
Oh, I don't know.
Newborn baby as well helps.
Yeah.
They keep you awake.
Yeah. Like, I went into my last fight thinking like my missus heavy pregnant, and I was like, oh, I'm doing this for my family, you know, really idealistic, like, I'm doing this for my family. Now I gotta, you know, now I sort of booked a fight, now I gotta fucking kill someone. I just feel really like,
aggression now,
yeah.
Sleep deprived, hunger.
It's gone from like, that's it.
Peace and quiet.
Idealistic view of wanting to fight and provide for your family to, you just want to fight now.
Someone's going to get it.
I want to get out of the house, and it doesn't speak great for my ex-opponent, mind you.
Yeah, well, we will definitely get to that, mate. We'll get to that. I've been looking forward to this, mate. I've got to say, because obviously we've had you on the fight show a couple of times to chat about various things.
Yeah.
Which is always enjoyable, but it's nice to get you in here and have a proper face-to-face, as it were, especially as the last couple of years have been problematic, I think, for everyone. Been a bit brutal, but it's nice to get back to a bit of normality. So
before the Ruskies come.
Yeah, that's it. Before World War
III
officially starts. That's coming. It's happening. Get on board, basically, and I think could be. Yeah, we could all be called up for national service, mate. This time next year.
Scary, isn't it?
It is. It's frightening, mate. It's like, just as do you know what I don't get right? Is like the world has just had this really shite 2 years or so, and it's like the first thing they think to do is like, oh, no, right now that's over, let's go to war.
Yeah.
Jesus. But
it's quite funny. I met Putin.
Did you?
I met Putin. Yeah, years ago in M1 Challenge out in Sochi.
Well, that's mate. Tell me you got a photo of that.
Mate, I wouldn't love to do anything.
See, I would have loved to have inserted a photo now.
A little bow, and of course nobody ever really believes me when I tell them, but he was with Jean-Claude Van Damme and what's the name, the heavyweight, the last emperor, Emelianenko.
Oh yeah.
And the fight was in like off a pier, off Sochi, proper, digging the trees and. Yeah.
Jesus, that sounds like a proper that sounds like the end of a movie, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like blood sport or something.
I just hope he remembers me when he comes over. And he's like, that guy's sound. Let him carry on.
Lewis Long, he's alright. Don't worry about him. Kill the rest of them. Yeah. He can stay. He could end up being like a lieutenant in the Russian army or something.
You never know.
Stranger things have happened.
Shave my top lip and
What's that? There's a TV series, isn't it? About if the Nazis had won World War II, or what's it called? A man in a high castle or something.
Yeah.
So it's like based around if the Germans had won the war or something. It's like a thing. There you go.
Have you seen the Nazi zombie film?
I've seen many shite films. That sounds like a bit of a shit film.
It's
so
amazing.
I've probably seen it.
And the second one, it's the tagline is. The sequel, you did Nazi come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I love a pun.
Red Dead Army or something. It's fucking great.
Always. Oh yeah, I think I did see a Red Dead Army. It does ring a bell.
It's terrible, but
yeah, I've spent most of the films I watch like shit films because they're shit.
Yeah,
It's good. I go to sleep watching shit films a lot of the time. My go-to at the moment is like scary movie films. I just chuck them on and fall asleep. Just stupid humour, and
It's when horror met. Horror went from like Evil Dead to the Third Army of the Dead.
Yeah,
and it's just ashy slashy. This is my boomstick. Oh, great.
Yeah, it's all good, man. So with this series, what I like to do, mate, basically, is we go right back to the start. So we ask you to just say like a bit about, or tell us a bit about like upbringing. Where did it all begin for Lewis Long?
I started in judo when I was about 10. It was made to. Like my friend was going and sort of coerced me to go. And I still remember like sitting outside the Pond and Clean community centre crying, not wanting to go in.
But you proper didn't want to go. It wasn't like I'll come. It was like I don't want to go.
Yeah, I didn't want to go. I was like chubby kid, looked like fucking Sonia off EastEnders.
Really?
Yeah. Cheers, Andy.
Insert picture now.
Yeah. She got a fuck. My missus. There was a photo of like Sonia done as a man on one of those face swaps.
Oh yeah.
It just looks like me.
Jesus.
It just looks like me. It's terrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
if you want to have a look at that, guys, have a laugh.
Back down, like.
Yeah. It's like,
Jesus.
But yeah. So I did judo for a few years. I was in trouble in school. Got a breath. Like I got thrown out of school when I was like 11.
Was it?
Yeah.
So where did you grow up then?
I grew up in like Langtristan, Pontyclean, Church Village.
Oh, right. So you would have grown. You grew up in the areas which I kind of used. I used to hang around a lot in like Craiger.
Okay, yeah.
We used to hang around with like Church Village boys.
That's where I'm living now. Is Church Village.
Yeah. So that's where I kind of used to hang around with some kids from there.
Yeah.
Get into some trouble.
Yeah, why not?
Yes. So, but you were getting into trouble early then, like 10, 11.
Yeah, well, I was sort of brought up. There's a pub called the Black Prince my dad owned.
Oh,
and
okay.
I used to sort of live there and stuff, so I sort of left my own devices a fair bit.
It's brutal, isn't it? If you're like a child of a landlord or whatever from pubs, because the hours are so long.
Yeah.
You often. I got a couple of friends who had, who were saying, not that they had a bad upbringing. It was just you get left to kind of play around. There's a play area in the pub. Or
that's it.
Entertain yourself. Basically.
I was good at pool as a kid.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, so I got kicked out of school a bit. Parents sort of got kicked out for smoking weed when I was fucking 11.
That's an early start. That is because I used to enjoy to smoke a bit of weed, like, and I was a bit later than that. I think like 14, 15, sort of.
Yeah.
11's quite early, isn't it?
Yeah, but then the older kids used to try and take it off me.
No, was it?
So I used to fight with them and just stuff like that. And,
so even before you went judo, so you went to judo at 10. So you were fighting.
Yeah.
Fighting from 10 upwards, really.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
But like not. So you went to judo.
Yeah.
You didn't want to go at all.
No.
What was it like once you once you went to the first one? You were like, okay, this is alright. Or
I didn't really enjoy it until I could do the randori, the sparring. Once I could be physical and have some competition with fighting, I was like, that's great fun.
Yeah.
And just there, sort of my love went through it, like, I wanted to learn more and more. Especially, like, as I said, it was a turbulent childhood with school and parental things. And so I was sort of always in and out of trouble fighting, but I was always like trying to compete as well. And I think it gives you a better edge, really, because you've got to switch on at some point. And you get punched in the face, you're like, right, okay, I'm not going to die. You sort of realise you're not made of glass, and you're sort of one step ahead of everyone else, If that makes any sense. Like,
the thing is, I think if you've never been punched in the face, there's naturally a bit of fear about it, isn't there?
Yeah.
And for kids growing up who've had, who are scrapping and having a fight, whether it's just generally or doing martial arts or whatever, you have got like a different outlook to getting punched.
Yeah.
Whereas someone it's a natural fear, isn't it?
Yeah. I see like kids in the gym, and like they have a fight or they do jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, and they think they're sort of untouchable, as kids, and then they get punched, and then they're like,
don't quite know how to deal with it.
Yeah, but then their whole attitude towards training changes, and it's sort of like they become almost a lot more mature, and they realise this is a fighting sport, not just
the grappling.
Not just you're not just King Dick because you're in the gym beating up other kids. It's applicable to in life,
And there's the if you're really good at it, just because you're really good in your gym doesn't make you untouchable when you come up against other people, is it? Because there's other gyms, there's other people.
Everyone's got a talent in their gym, and
Yeah, and you're always going to come up against someone bigger, I suppose. Especially when you're younger, there's always going to be someone bigger and better. So, you got kicked out of school at 11.
Yeah.
Did you? Was that it for school then?
No, I went to a different school.
Just went and done it. And
to a different school.
Make it all the way through without getting kicked out again?
Yeah, there was a few spells where I was in trouble fighting. But to me, like, I was never in the wrong. To me, you shouldn't fight. But like, it was
never. All those times you were in trouble, it was never your fault.
Yeah, it was definitely my fault. But like, I'd never really instigate it. I'd always just go laugh and say, fuck you, in, go on in.
Yeah, let's go.
So
like you wouldn't go looking for trouble, but if it found you, you wouldn't walk away from it.
Oh, not at all. It's a stupid attitude, I know, but
the thing is, you say that though, mate, right? My oldest boy, who's 17 now, when he was in year 7, he went up. He's got ADHD. So what happened is, in year 7, he was purposely put in a class where he didn't know anyone because we wanted him away from some of the boys who he'd been with in primary school to try and help him focus on schoolwork and that. And these two boys from because obviously year 7 you've got all these different schools coming together, and I think schools don't sometimes appreciate how difficult it is for boys because they all come from different schools. They're all jostling for kind of the position of who's going to be the King Dick, for as you said there. And like so these two boys kind of targeted because he's big as well. He was nearly 6 foot in year 7, like he was massive. So like these two boys used to target him, and he didn't want to get in trouble. He was trying to sort of find himself, and they would come and push him and be hitting him and 2-on-1, like, and he kept walking away, and they would hit him and he would walk away, and I kept saying to the school, eventually, he ain't gonna walk away, and he's big and he's gonna, he knows what he's doing, but he chooses not to. Because he doesn't want to get in trouble, basically. And kept happening, like these things, words, physical. And then one day, they done it, and he just flipped out, broke one nose, and threw the other against the wall. And then I get a phone call saying, your son's broken someone's nose, and he's done this. And I said, was it those two boys who've been giving him grief for the last 8 months, day in, day out? Yeah. I just kind of told you that was going to happen. I told you that you needed to deal with it. And everyone's got a point where they have enough in it.
It's always when something happens.
Yeah.
When something happens.
Be a bit proactive and deal with it before. But like, I can't remember what my point was initially now. But like, my point now is like everyone's got a point where they're going to stick up for themselves.
Yeah, the same was with me. Like I said, because I was kicked out of school so early. When I went to a new school at that year 7, year 8 mark.
It's hard, that isn't it? Because everyone's looking at you. Everyone wants to.
And I was sort of living between two houses. From 2 different areas and stuff like that, so I knew people everywhere, and of course I was coming back to that school and thought so I would see everyone's jostling for that sort of alpha male thing. Not that I ever cared, but I wouldn't just everyone back down. What was that little swagger?
Look after yourself, like
a little swagger and a little grin on my face, Were you
chopsy?
No,
quite quiet.
Yeah, just like. Because I was later in life I had long hair and leather jacket,
Nice.
Yeah, I thought I was cool. But I never really. All the teachers liked me in school. It was never a bad kid.
Never a problem. Like you'd stick up for yourself. Basically. So, what about like other sports? Anything you were good at, interested in?
I went into kickboxing. Done a few years of that and a few competitions. But at the same time, then when I was like 15, 16, I was training alongside, trying to get into. I was in the Welsh development squad for judo, and then I was training there, so I was trying to do like every other night with something. It all got a bit much really, and I was training up to like Welsh squad training in the days, and so I was getting a bit injured. It was a bit later, like 18, I think. I got a bit fed up of it really because
day in, day out. Like.
Well, there's not supposed to that. It was just judo all the time, and I was like, oh fuck this, like. But that's when I sort of started. Went to like Muay Thai on a Friday night, so I do like Monday judo, Tuesday kickboxing.
Yeah.
Like that, and then Muay Thai on a Friday. I remember going on there one class and coming from. I went like, shit. That's how to fight. Not jumping around throwing axe kicks or trying to grab someone's lapel. I was like, wow, I need to know more of that. But as well as that, then I was doing like kickboxing gradings and stuff. Because I was obviously good at any sport I turn my hand to, and like, give me a row in a grading because I wasn't there all the time because like I was training with like the Welsh squad judo YU, I'm still here doing it. Like so I was like, do you know what? Fuck you. Yeah. So it was like, people like
didn't take no shit then either.
Yeah, no, I just why you having to go with me? Like when
you know where I am. You know where I am.
Yeah, it's one of those.
It's not like you were just not turning up because you've gone on a piss or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. And like, it's one of those things, and this is why I want to open my own gym, because you go through all these styles, and they always like, you got to wear my kit, you got to wear my this, you got to pay this insurance, this that, and
everything's cost, isn't it?
I hated it all my life. The amount my mother had to spend on kits just so I could go through a training session. And you're like, fuck off.
It's the same everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just money making, and I understand as now be as a businessman, you need to make money, but not like that. I just think
funny, and like my boys play football, and like the youngest one and the oldest one, they'd quite often get approached by scouts from Cardiff and other clubs around like the local area, and they'd say, we your boy's good, come and play for the development centre. And you say, is that like the the full academy? And they go, like, it's the one underneath where we'll get them ready to go into the academy, because obviously in the academy you do have to pay stuff to get stuff, but you also get more out of it because you're officially signed with the club or whatever. So you go to this training, and then the first training is like, right, it's like 30 quid for this and this, and you've got to buy the kit, which is another 30 quid, and it's like really. And a lot of the time they weren't even playing like competitive matches. It's just basically you were paying a load of money and for training and just for like an extra training session, and it was like
it's brutal because you all want your kids to do well.
Yeah, but how do you I can't tell my kid who's at the time was like 8, 9, or Cardiff scouts come to see you. He thinks you're really good, but I'm not going to take you there because it costs this and this, and really, it's not what you think it is. This just like their way of making money. Maybe they'll spot like one player or something which they fancy, and
they're not the kids ain't gonna understand that.
No.
They're just so happy to be.
Yeah, they're just like, oh my god, and like Cardiff were in the Premier League at the time, so it's like, what are you gonna do? You can't say no, can you?
No, definitely. Yeah, sorry. It's like I was like doing a bit of Thai boxing, training in a boxing gym. I met a few guys who did MMA, like Ricky Wright. So Ricky Wright, I met him a month before my first fight. So I met him and Denzel. He said, if you're interested, and come along tomorrow, we're training. So I trained with like Denzel and Ricky then. Then a week or two later, I was like, do you fancy a fight? And I was like, yeah, son. And then about 18 into a fight there, cut off my long hair.
Cut off your long hair to fight, did you?
Yeah, my mum still got the ponytail. I think it's
so,
cute.
With that, so that was what, amateur fight, yeah?
Well, it was back in the Wild West days. It was the semi-pro, so 4 ounce gloves, headshot standing, but not on the floor. It seems bonkers now, doesn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't get that now, would you?
No,
really?
It's so much more dangerous.
Yeah. So, how did that first fight go?
It was actually really good. Yeah, I think I won first round.
That's like an ongoing thing, mate.
Yeah, it was the fight that I fought a guy called Neil Shorter.
Okay.
So it was long versus shorter for my first fight. Yeah,
that's a promoter's dream, isn't it? Come on.
I think
the puns.
I think I had mount and wrapped a guillotine and rolled onto my back. I think I finished it with guillotine, but I mean.
But the thing is, even though that was your first fight, you had probably, I'd imagine, so much more training and skills than someone else who's in their first fight, because you'd been doing like judo for Wales, high level since you were 11, Muay Thai, kickboxing. Yeah. So you'd already had that quite a big standing in your skill set. Whereas a lot of people who go into their first fight at semi-pro, you know, they're very raw, aren't they, in terms of what their abilities are, their skills are. That at least now, maybe back then, maybe a bit different.
But yeah, it's a back end. It was
first amateur fight. You're not going to be looking at rolling and guillotining someone. Are you?
Yeah, it was just back then. It was the Wild West. You know, you just didn't know anything. You know, you didn't know.
No rules.
I like to say this, but it is mental. I didn't know what a single leg takedown until my third pro fight. Well, that's fucking mental.
Is crazy, man.
That is
Jesus. When you think about like now, like the levels that even the new guys coming in
teach
terms
kids
of their all-round game.
Didn't have a clue. I know how to hip throw people and shoulder throw and how pin people down with like Keskatami and stuff.
No single leg.
But there was nobody in Wales doing that stuff.
No.
Mike Edwards taught me from Petaba when I started training up there, and yeah.
That is quite shocking. I gotta say, like I was shocked by that. Yeah. So, like Danny tells me stories sometimes about like the Wild West of like Cage Rage and Cage Warriors and all like the scene. Obviously, he's a bit older than me, and then obviously a bit older than you. Like in UK MMA, he quite often he retired basically because he had no one to fight. He just couldn't get people to fight him, and he'd always have to go like up a weight to fight because there was just no one around. And some of the stuff he tells me, like there's obviously that famous Cage Warriors show where there was a bit of a riot and stuff, and obviously this was all like pre-Graham Boylan, wasn't it? Where he sort of professionalised the promotion and that, but like it very much was like you say.
Was that a Nottingham card?
I think it was Nottingham.
The Rough House.
Yeah. There's videos of it all over the place, I think, but you can't quite. Because even back then, like you didn't have camera phones everywhere and stuff. So if you had, if that happens now, you got like 60 million angles of it.
Everyone's going to see it.
Yeah, it's but like they were the Wild West days for British MMA, and I think sometimes people forget like how quickly MMA has kind of progressed worldwide. Like if you think France has only recently really, like unbanned it.
Well,
in the last few years, isn't it?
Bellator was the first pro card, you know.
And we're going to talk about Paris a bit later.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, that I think sometimes it's easy to forget how quickly things have changed from an MMA point of view. But even I was just going to say, like if you listen to like Talk Sport sometimes, so like after the McGregor-Khabib kerfuffle, shall we say, after their fight, like Talk Sport are very quick, and I know they're kind of like shock jock. That's what they do to get people to phone in. But like whenever something happens, they're very quick to turn it round into cage fighting, and it's like this brutal thing, and they switch from it being a sport, which they support and they talk about, and the competitive side of it, which they do on a daily basis. They very quick to kind of portray it as like unruly, brutal cage fighting with no rules and.
I say we've literally fought to clear ourselves of that sort of those negative, like when people say, "Oh, you're a cage fighter," I'm like, no. I used to be embarrassed about it, and one of my friends now, sadly, we just had to pull him from a fight. George, he's trained his bollocks off, but when he works, the older middle aged, and they're like, they don't like him doing it, and they talk down to him, and it's like. He's trained, the last 8-10 weeks flat out. He's sacrificed food, family, he's put it all on the line. And what have you done over the last couple of 8 weeks? It's just like he wakes up to be better every day, he pushes himself, and then they're just bitching at him in work, and he's like, I hate it because you
see how much effort he puts in.
Yeah, when I was a kid, right? All my friends went to uni. I went to uni a little bit later, but. I'd speak to their parents when they come back. I'd go, "Oh, what are you doing, Luke?" And I'd be like, they're all going, "Oh, I studied to be a lawyer or a doctor." I'd be like, fighting. And now I think I'm the only one out of my friends who's still in the profession they started with. So
that's it. But that's it. Like how often do people, like you say, like they'll train to do one thing, whether it's a lawyer or a doctor or whatever. A lot of the time they never end up doing what they trained to do because there's either no jobs or they change their mind 2 years into their course or whatever it may be. And I think the dedication you've got to have to be a professional fighter, You have to be able to stick with it, and you have to, on those days where you wake up, where you've, like even now, when the baby's been up all night.
Yeah.
If the baby's ill or something or whatever, or got colic.
And she has at the minute. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
It's a nightmare.
It's purely a nightmare.
I cannot imagine. When I look back, like I've got three teenagers now, so it's easier. They all want to stay in bed till 11 o'clock. I gotta get them out of bed. But like when they were little, and like when I look back, when the youngest one was a baby, so I would have had a 2 and a 4-year-old and a baby, and I think those sleepless nights, and then trying to get up at like 5 o'clock to go for a run, and then go to the gym and have breakfast and fit in 4 or 5 meals a day and train, but then also keep, your missus happy and take them where you've got to do the family stuff and fit in everything. You run the business with the gym.
That's what I struggle with, is the guilt, because like yesterday I was out all day, training, work, training PTs, work, running the gym. Business partner was ill, so I had to take some of the classes, and I feel guilty that I'm not there with the baby. Well, seeing him grow up as well as not there. It's just terrible. Like, it's horrible.
When my oldest was a baby, for probably best part of 3 or 4 months, I used to go to work before he'd get up, and I'd be gone, and then when I'd get home, quite often he'd already be asleep.
Yeah.
And I had to do that for like 3 months where I was doing courses and stuff. And the guilt, because you're like, what am I doing this for? Because I'm missing out on what's important. You're missing out on all that stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously it's slightly different with you, because what you're doing is like, you're training to become a champion at the end of the day. Whereas I was just doing like an office job, which in the grand scheme of things, I was just a cog in a wheel, which didn't matter.
Yeah. It's like the issues.
But I started to pay my bills, and
it's got to be done.
Yeah.
It's like I was saying yesterday, like I do kids classes every night, and I was like, fuck, I spend more time with your kids this week than I have my own. I was like, fuck.
It's hard, mate, because like even like this week for me, like it's half term, so like I know in my head what I'm trying to build and do with the channel and with all the different interviews and stuff. I know what I'm trying to build, I know what I'm trying to get, but in order to do it, I gotta spend money, I gotta take up loads of time, and it's then not just the time like doing shows here, doing shows online. You've gotta like edit them and do all this sort of stuff, and like I have got a guy now, so that's taking the pressure off a little bit, but like the guilt of the time I'm not like spending with my missus or the kids, or like if I do the shows online, my studio at home is basically was the dining room. So like I do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday basically I do shows definitely, and then Sunday, so that's 4 hours, 7 days, where at 7 o'clock it's like, boys, really sorry, you've got to go and watch TV up in your room.
Quiet time,
and it's like, they understand, but even like sometimes they're like, Dad, what the fuck, like?
Yeah,
it's hard, but I know that if I achieve what I think I can and what I'm trying to do, it'll be like, it'll be better for everyone.
You're creating a good role model as well at the end of the day,
Yeah, I try to, mate, but it's guilt, mate.
But as I said, I'm struggling with it. Like,
and it's weird that it's come up. Like obviously just as we're talking, because yesterday, like I really, really struggled with it, and I had because of my own health as well. So I had a vaccination on Monday, so I felt like shit. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, didn't really want to do anything, even though I had the time to do it. But I was like, I feel like that's a shite, and it's like, and then yesterday night I was just like, oh, you can't.
I just feel like I'm failing at everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm doing more than I've ever done, and succeeding less than I've ever done. Or feel like I am.
And I think, but then you can feel like that, can't you? And I get it completely at the moment, because that's how I've been feeling the last 24 hours particularly.
Yeah.
But like, and then a couple of days time, you might wake up and you're like, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. We got this coming up, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's like a little switch, because but it's some days that not the motivation, but the feelings of, I need to be there, but I'm here, and you can't get away from it. Because at the end of the day, the reason we feel guilty about those things is because in reality, you should be there. Like, ultimately, that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Like, in reality, like, I should be with my missus or with my kids now, where it's half term. But no, I'm recording a show here with you. And look, I'm glad I am, but that doesn't take away from the fact. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird thing, isn't it? Like, this kind of sacrifices you've got to make. But not that I'm comparing my sacrifices to yours.
With work, I do a lot of PTs, and it's like, well, I got money, I don't have to do them, or do so many, but doesn't stop me
doing them.
Do more, like, you know. It's just,
but it's just...
The rat race got me, bro.
Yeah, the rat race got me. Do you know what, right? It's funny, because I had, this week, at one point last Thursday, I had shows booked in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday here. And then, because I forgot it was half term, my missus can see this. I forgot it was half term. And she had said to me, like, you know, don't book loads in at the studio, because it's half term, so at least we can do some stuff in the day and that. And then I've come home and I've sent her a text on the way home saying, right, Monday there, so she knows where I am next week. And she's gone, oh, you know it's half term. And you go, oh, yeah, I just remembered. I've just rearranged all them. And I was like,
oh, shit. Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is. Anyway. So,
tangent and half.
Yeah.
But it's fair. I mean, I think everyone who's going to have a family, like, as I said, I'm struggling with it. Like, it's,
but I think
a lot of people, dads are going to be the same.
Yeah, and don't you reckon though, mate, right? And this is something which I find refreshing, especially since I've been doing podcasts, but just generally, I think how the world's changed a little bit is 10 years ago, me and you wouldn't sit in a room and talk about the fact that we got guilt, we feel like we're failing.
Yeah.
Because it just wouldn't have been a done thing, would it? It would have been like, you would have just kind of skirted around it, like, and just felt, oh, I feel like shit. Like, that would have been it. And I think that's how you've got to deal with stuff, is you just got to get it out.
It's important, isn't it? I'm a strong guy and I'm still fucking struggling, you know.
No.
The one thing is help, though, is like training now, you know, whereas I used to stay in the gym all day and play and stuff like that, you know, now I'm like, right, I got that session, I'm going to make the most of that, you know. So with training is definitely like a little bit more angled and focused, you know, so
don't hang around after.
I got to be there, you know, just, you know, you got to be done in there, you know. I've got limited energy, limited time, let's go now.
You know, so let's get it done.
Yeah.
And let's go like to the next one. Do you do like coaching, like, so is it like coaching and your training mixed in all day and night, basically?
So I got, in the days of mine, and then every night at 6 o'clock we got like a pro session. And I got various different coaches with different styles that come in each night and help tailor it along with myself. So I train most nights, but you know, as a coach as well, I got to sit back and watch the sparring. So it's not too bad. So I get my stuff out in the day. I'm always consistent with like yoga, strength conditioning, and stuff. You know, just that type of stuff. So that I'm never, you know, off the boil. You know, far from it. You know. So I sit back and watch them, and then when I start training, well, I'm on the mat most nights anyway. But yeah, it's not too bad. And as I said, the level is growing now, and I'm getting a bit slower, I think. I mean, it's one of the two, you know.
Do you have any interest in martial arts, MMA, generally from like young kids and, you know, 10-year-olds or whatever now? Do you think it's growing like, substantially all the time?
Like my area, everyone knows who I am. You know, all the kids and all that. I walk on the street.
Do you get stopped asking for like a picture and stuff?
Not really, but
we got to take pictures. I always forget we got to take pictures while we're here.
It's like the kids in the streets and that, they go past the house now when I'm coming out of the car.
Eggs.
Like, oh yeah, hello. Like, it's like.
Yeah,
like, it looks weird, kids shouting my name, but
but it's like, I know what you mean. It's
but they're looking up to it, you know, and
that's good, don't it?
Cool, like.
So, like, when you get all the young kids coming in for their first sessions and is it like, are they at your place because of you, or is it just like a general MMA thing? The other boys at the gym.
It's everything.
You've got a few lads, haven't you, who are quite well known.
Yeah, it's everything in there. Like, either because they know me, obviously, a rising tide raises all boats, as they say, you know, and the better I do, the better my business does in the gym, you know. Course, so,
so do you see an influx, you know, like after your last fight where you won 43 seconds?
Yeah.
Do Do you see like an influx in people contacting the business and asking about it?
Yeah, because
that's mad how the two correlate, don't it, in some ways.
I mean, I think it's as well to do with like how algorithms work on Facebook and that.
Sure,
if I put up a post that's me in weigh-in or me just winning the fight, it gets like 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 likes. The amount of that amount that's reached to it by other people is a lot. Is a huge more. So yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? If you put just like a general business post up saying, "God, these courses on this date," it probably wouldn't go too far. But the way that Facebook and the algorithm works and things like that, you put like just a short video, you're weighing in for a fight, and it's pushed far and beyond. But I like the fact that you see a correlation between the two. Yeah. I think that's because it's obviously vital. Like it's the same as any sport, isn't it? You need the kids. You always need more kids coming through. And like I look at some of the young guys in MMA in Wales in particular. I think I can't remember. I might have even said it to you when you come on. Like I think 10 years time, Wales is going to have taken over like MMA worldwide. Yeah, like when you look at the guys positioned where they are, like yourself, you've got Mason, you've got Jack Shaw, you've got even Oban. I know he's had a rough time recently, but from a talent point of view, you've got Ben Ellis, I think, is perfectly capable of going and doing some special things. Then you've got younger guys as well who are like on the brink. And I think the last time I spoke to Richard like on the show for a while. But whenever I do speak to him, like he says the younger crop which he's got coming through are almost better than the ones which he's put out there already. And when you consider the guys that he's put out already, like Jack and Oban, and obviously you've got Scott fighting on Friday, or Bellator, Brett Johns. That's quite mad, isn't it? And I'm sure you're the same, which I'm going to ask you about now.
As you said, like it's having people positioned in the right places. It's having those contacts that people go to you first before they go anywhere else. That you could put your guys on the shows.
100%.
And I think it's going to be very like fighting Irish. Obviously being a massive thing. I feel like it's going to happen with Wales as well because it's just like obviously Jack Shaw is going to be. I think a superstar next year.
He's going to be a champion, isn't he?
Yeah, lovely guy as well. He's going to be. But I think that's going to one or two fighters like that. It's just going to explode in Wales. And it has. I mean, I opened the gym about 10 years ago because I always knew that's what I wanted to do. I used to when I was doing kickboxing. I used to hold the pillows in the house, teach my mates.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so you always had a bit of coaching, you know?
Yeah, I always just loved it and. So opened the gym because because there was nowhere really for me to train, so I used to like work a door all night and then travel to Swansea to train with Chris Reese, who was like a purple belt at the time. Or there was nothing.
You always had to travel to train, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I'd travel, find somebody, find someone to train with, or as I said, I was training with Ricky. It was mad, but. Now you look at 10 years, that's why I decided to open my own gym to get away from. I could bring my own coaches in, and now you look. I never used to have hardly any people in the classes. I didn't mind because I had my own training. And now I'm pissed off because it's busy and not busy. But like, why the fuck are these people doing in my gym? I want to train. Like, people asking me questions. It's good, of course. People asking me questions or like. Business or just that people contacting you like fuck off not a bad way but
I know what you mean like,
it's crazy to say like do like a pro session 6 o'clock every day and he must have had over probably about 30 on the mat Monday. Not all pros of course.
People it's amazing though mate tonight that you built it from an idea. It's just I want to do this so I'm going to do it to where you got 30 people on a 6 o'clock on a weekday. Yeah. Like, I know you're joking about like, I want to fucking train and there's too many people here, but like ultimately, that's what it is. If there was no one there, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be thriving. I am interested though, from a slightly different outlook for someone who's obviously trying to build a business and something from an idea. Yeah. And long term looking to build like a venue and not build but like get a venue and stuff myself. Like how did you go about, so you had in your idea I want my own place where I'm in charge and I can hire people and stuff. Like did you save up and kind of do it that way? Did you go and have to go and get like a business loan? Did you Like, obviously you don't have to talk figures, but I just mean the general gist of it. Like,
it was only a small shed, and I had a business partner, Andy O'Brien, at the time. He was a little bit older than me, so he was able to, because of course it was like fucking 21, 22, didn't have a clue.
So he was navigating that side a bit, was he?
Yeah, so we got a business loan to open it up, only a few grand. It was only, as I said, a shed, and I don't think it turned a profit, just paid off the loan for years, you know.
So when you had it in that smaller place, it was just you, him?
Yeah, and I brought in a few coaches, you know, so it's literally a shed.
How many people would you have had training there, like week, day to day then?
Maybe, I don't know, 10, sometimes more, but sometimes no one in the class at all. But,
so were they, like, when you've obviously gone and got your loan and you're starting that business out, you can have days where it's a bit soul destroying, can you, if there's no one in your class or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, how did you get through those kind of harder days and then keep going and push through and
I always tell people this. I said, I know the future. And it's like, oh, how? I said, because I know the future. I know what's going to happen, because I'm gonna work for it. You know, not me being like Mystic Mac or anything.
No.
It's like, I know the future because
you're not going to wait for it to
I'm
fall
getting
into
it.
your lap. You're
I'm
going to go get it.
Yeah, I'm getting it. I know the future. I always say, I know the future. So, and I knew it then. I know it now, and you know, these days, you know, I don't have to work like security jobs through the night. You know, I can rely on the money being.
So did you work like day job and night job back then, did you?
Yeah, and I was in uni. I train all the time.
But like, it's a bit of a cliche in some ways. Like people say, if you work hard enough, you can get it.
Nah.
But like ultimately, if you put the work in, eventually, I think you will get it. And like, I speak to people a lot about, you know, businesses and sport and whatever, like, and the common thing is, like, anyone who's successful in anything is you got to put in the work, you got to treat it, you know, as you want it to. You got to be professional, whether you're a tiny little thing just starting out or whether you're a big massive corporation. You got to be professional, you got to treat it, you got to work hard, and you got to go and do it like you want it to do, whether it's small or big or whatever, even starting out. And I think eventually, I think if you work hard enough, people notice, don't they? And I think people notice if you're putting the time and the effort in, that things get better. And like you say, your success is probably also correlated with both as well. Yeah. So going back to we'll kind of talk about both as we're going along, I guess. So you had your first professional fight, your first semi-pro fight in the Wild West.
Yeah.
Tell me why you describe it as the Wild West first.
Well, say for instance, my second fight. This is sort of will give you an understanding. It was on the AFL. There's a term around Wales called "You've been swampoed." I don't know if you've heard that. He used to run AFL, and so he had his own little gym as well. And it turned up to fight at 84k at the time. You know, class. And like standing there, and this guy Nick McFarlane is going, "Oh, I'm fighting you, Lou." I'm like, oh, big guy, like. I said, "No, you're not." And then he said, "You know, my opponent's here." He goes, "No. I'm fighting you." He's like, "You?" I was like, "Fuck, I'm not fighting you," like. And then I spoke to the promoter, and the promoter was like, "Oh, your opponent hasn't turned up. His opponent hasn't turned up. You know, we're both the same weight." And then, really, what happened is he knew he was fighting me. I didn't have a clue. And
that's naughty, you know.
Yeah, and like Ricky was cornering me for that fight, and he's going, "Yeah, Luke, nah, don't do it." And he's like,
"Don't take it."
"Oh, fucking you now, and we."
As well. But that's what fighters have got, that attitude, haven't they? Is like when you have situations like that, when things aren't run well, it's quite often they will have that attitude. Well, I've trained for it. I'm here. So I may as well.
Yeah, well, there's another interesting thing about being, like, obviously I'm like a coach and manager as well, that I have done a lot of stupid shit in my time. I've done it all the right way, and also...
But as a coach, you would have told yourself not to take that fight.
Fuck, I fought three weeks out of hospital with a bone infection, you know, and you know that now, if that was I know their mindset, so you know, it makes me a better manager and coach than it is like, no, you're not doing it. And you know, they're always trying to figure out a way around whatever I say, but you know, it does.
How difficult is that though for like, because you obviously seen both sides of it? A fighter is always going to be like, no, I want to take that fight.
Yeah.
But have you got to put your foot down as the coach, the manager, whatever, and say, no, you're not doing it?
Yeah.
Like, how hard is that? Like, how much will they fight you towards that?
A lot. I mean, and the mentality is they're going to try and get around you to get what they want.
Mm.
It's this instinct, and it's admirable, because that's a fighter's lifestyle, and that's really what they want to achieve. They want to do this, and they want to do it at all costs. But I'm here to make sure it's not at all costs.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So it's interesting, because I see so much of myself in these fighters, and truth.
Of course, because you're bringing them up almost. Like, I know that sounds weird thing to say, like bringing them up.
Yeah.
You are. You're in terms of a fight career, you're the daddy, innit?
Yeah.
Well, they're learning so much from. They're learning their mentality, not their mentality, but they're learning the mentality side of it. They've all got their own mentality, and it's all different. They're all different. Yeah. Everyone's got a different mentality, but they're going to pick up things from you as a fighter, as a person, as a coach. They're going to pick up things of your outlook on life, your outlook on coaching, your strategies, everything. So they're always. It must be like looking in a mirror sometimes. Yeah,
and it's truthfully
hard as well. Sometimes.
Yeah, fucking right, mate. But truthfully, it's made me a better athlete, because if I can manage them at that, I'll manage myself at it. If I speak to one of my coaches or whatever, and they say nope, I'll be like, right, okay. I know as well. I'll be trying to do. I'll be like, yeah, whatever. But now, over the last few years, I've realised that. There's a reason why all a promoter needs to do, and it happened to me a couple of times, because do you want to fight Bella? Busy, sorry. He called you a prick. All right, I'll fight him.
Yeah, he said you say that. Yeah. He said you'd chicken out. Or is there anything like?
That's it. You need. I don't think you need a manager. You just need a good coach that understands the game and be able to navigate you through it and stuff. Yeah, especially like stuff like weight cutting, and some.
Oh, mate! Did you see that? Sorry to interrupt you. Did you see that video the other day of someone weight cutting? Oh, I forgot who it was. I think it was an Irish guy. It was one of the most horrific things I've ever seen, and I only come across it because Richard Shaw shared this doctor, a guy who's like got a Facebook page. He's like specifically like about weight loss and stuff. His page, and this boy. Only young, he must have been like 18, 19, I'm guessing. He looked quite young. He was early in his fight career, certainly. Weight cutting. So he went in like the portable sauna, and he started puking, but it's just bile because he's got nothing in him, because he's trying to cut weight. So his teammates have pulled him out with the portable sauna. He's spewing. He's made weight, and then even after he's made weight and he's rehydrating, and he was spewing for I think he said 4 hours after. But I was just like, this doctor guy was basically saying, this is not a responsible way to cut weight, and he was going into the technical side of all the things this guy should have done from months out, or when he's in fight camp, doing it gradually and all that, which is of course
it's fine, but everybody wants the edge.
Yeah, of course they do. And I think for guys like yourself and and Jack and all these guys who were fighting at a high level, you're more likely to have access to dietitians and different aspects of that side of things, the teams and stuff. But guys who perhaps are just starting out or in the early stages of their pro careers, they got a day job and they got this and that. They haven't always got the access to that stuff.
I was just saying back, as I said,
it was distressing to watch, mate. I gotta say,
the Wild West, as I call it, I decided to make the drop to 155, and as I said, I've done everything right and I've done everything wrong, and I definitely did that wrong. I've definitely taken time off my life.
Was that the worst weight cut you've done?
I'd done a couple, and I was meant to fight that Ian Entwistle in Wembley, and somehow I missed weight by 0.4 of a pound. I spent all night in hospital.
With that, some people will say, well, 0.4, why? Surely you could make that just extra hour or whatever. But when you've cut so much weight, that 0.4 can be unachievable, can't it?
Well, I would have cut it, but it was strange because his camp spoke to someone who was in my camp at the time. I don't know, who drove us up there, some tool, and negotiated between themselves rather than going through the promotion. That's fine. You can start rehydrating. So all I knew was said, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Because you're going to do what they tell you. Once they say right, rehydrate, you're like, Thank fuck for that.
Yeah, I got a row for it off Jude, like. But,
so you ended up in hospital?
Well, I thought it was, I had intravenous rehydration when he was back in Lille, and then a few hours after I was having like pain in my chest. And I was like, thought I was having a heart attack. Yeah, I was in the hospital all night. Yeah, shit your pants scary. And
did you think your time was up? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Wasn't nice.
Just don't know. Just like fuck. But it ended up being like pleurisy when I'd been in like the sauna, hot baths for so long. I bruised the line in my lung.
That's not good for your body, is it?
Turned up the fight, right? Got to the fight, and
can I ask you a question just before you say that?
Yeah.
You know, like you say there about the damage to the lung, and you turned up to fight.
Yeah.
What happens if that guy hits you with a perfect body shot? You fucked, didn't you?
Yeah.
Gotta be.
That's it. I knew I shouldn't have been in there, but you still think you got a chance as a fighter. But it's funny because I had so many ECGs. There was a line for the medical, so I was sat here, like I was with a doctor, and Dr. Lee said, have you been to hospital?
Because you got like sticky things
yeah.
on your chest.
And all circles there.
Just lock them into this one. It's already here.
Yeah, it's still had the circles there. I was like, it's only a bit of pleurisy. I'm fine. So he cleared me to fight. And Ian Endressel, my opponent, after slagging me off online loads, didn't turn up. I mean, thank the stars he didn't.
Probably good for the long-term health.
Fucking right. Thank God I would never win that. To be fair, when I
need a bit of pleurisy, fuck you.
My hands were wrapped. I was like just trying to shadow box. Like, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So
that's not good, is it? No, that's got to be taken like if you've got like a certain amount of days that you've got on this earth, however many it is, stuff like that's got to take a couple off.
Fuck it. But
half a day here, half a day there.
But I think it's on us as a community, MMA, like as coaches, as fighters, to be better educated with it, and also with promotions. Like I know Bellator will, if I mess them a week out, say I'm struggling for weight, could I make it a catch weight?
They will.
Or they will. They'll try to.
I'm pretty sure I've heard from a few people UFC is quite similar. If you give them, if you do it like a week out, 2 weeks out, whatever, or a week out, say, but not like the day before.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, as I said, it's
responsible, isn't it?
It's responsible for the community.
And being honest,
because we should all have trust in our fighters, and the fighters should also tell us the truth, which is.
If you want people to tell you the truth about things like weight cutting and stuff like that, you've got to make a scenario where if a week out they're struggling to make weight, they can come to you and say, they know they can go to you and say, look, I don't think I'm going to be able to make weight. I'm trying.
Yeah.
It's this, that, and the other. That as a promotion, they will make a catchweight fight or something that's more attainable.
Yeah.
Because then fighters won't put themselves in danger.
Yeah. And I mean, it's mad, like because like fighters, some fighters lie to me about weight or training where they are, and because whatever reasons, right? And I don't get this because I don't know what they think is. I only want the best version of them. In there, and same as the promotion, they only want the best fights they can get.
They don't want you 50% fit. Do they?
Yeah, they don't want someone dying in the cage or dying on the scales.
Don't help anyone, do they?
No, fuck no. So again, as I said, it's on us all as a community and promotion and all to not get rid of weight cutting, but because you're never going to do it, because it's just the competitive edge. Everybody wants that little bit more.
Professional sport, and everyone wants that slight edge, because that slightest edge in professional sport is the difference between winning and losing sometimes, isn't it?
This is mad, right? And this is everybody. Everybody's so much different weight cutting and sweating. Like I lose a pound every 10 minutes sweating. So I do cut a lot of weight, but I don't feel bad. Well, I don't feel fucking great either. But I could, if I wanted to, I could still kind of do more. But I know I could tell you. Like Ben and a few other people have been there with me and go. Most people say, like, I want to get out, or is that it? And they get out and you're like, get back in, you're not on weight. Then I literally say, I'm done. And he's like, no, stay in there. It's like, Ben, I'm on weight, get out there. He goes, what do you mean? It's like, I know how I feel when I'm on weight. I know how much time I've got to be in there. I know he's like,
just know your body well.
Get on the scales and he's like,
that's mad.
Fucking hell, like,
I suppose you know your body after all these years, mate. I am interested, just on the last thing on the weight cutting. So if one of your fighters was in the situation you were in, and you knew they had pleurisy, You pulling them?
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
Whether they say
Anything.
no, I'm good to
Pulling
go.
them, yeah.
They could say literally anything, and they would be done.
Yeah. Again, it's that now. It's promotion's not speaking to fighters. It's speaking to their not manager. I don't like managers in MMA because I don't think you really need them. You need a good coach
or just their team, innit?
Yeah. Rather than a fighter's always going to tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be fighting fit.
I'm going to someone who's close to win. Someone who's involved in the process.
Yeah.
And then
And the thing is with weight cutting,
it's the only way to change how it's done, though, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. But the thing is with weight cutting, right? Everybody wants it to be hard, right? Everybody wants this baptism. Right? Everybody wants this experience where they go through it and they cut the weight and they go through this ordeal and they come out and they get through it and they get a fighter. You know, they want that, and it doesn't need to be hard. It's fighting's hard, you know. It's just it needs to be done right. And I always say to people, for the fighters, it doesn't matter if it's one or £10. It's going to be difficult. It's never easy to cut anything, you know. But
do it right and do it healthy. Like.
But it's just the old conversation, and it's like you're never going to get around it. It just needs to be that better conversation with trustworthy people.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, there's still a few untrustworthy people around. The Wild West is gone, but the Cowboys are still in town. I think,
of course. It's just good to say.
So, like, when did you go from, like, you took a couple of, like, semi-pro fights and that. When did you sort of think, right, I'm going to do this professional, I'm going to be a pro fighter, and I'm going to do this?
Never really thought about it. Someone just went, do you want to earn some more money?
Do you want to do a pro fight and have a bit more?
Yeah, you could punch him in the head standing or on the floor. It's like, yeah, sound.
And just progressed from there.
Yeah, because I always competed judo. You know, I had like 8, 9. I had about 5 A-class fights in Thai boxing, as well as competed amateur, competed in judo. So I was always competing anyway. When they offered me like 150 quid, I was like, sound. I'm going to do this shit for free.
So, like, how many fights did you have outside Bellator as a pro?
I think I've had 4 in now. So,
you've been in Bellator a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I've only had 4 fights, but like, when I started, I broke my ankle, and then Corona slowed everything down. So I must reckon I've seen 19 and 6, so it's 25, 21. No fights outside there. Maybe fighting process like 19 or 20.
So was you excited when Bellator contacted you the first time and said, right,
Yeah, I was good. I was retired. See, I didn't post anything up about it, but I wasn't going to be
done.
Yeah, but not for any other reason apart from the sport was just so. It's a sport that doesn't give back, at those sort of levels. And I was fighting real high level guys, and having to pay my own fuel. And to the point I just went, you know what, fuck this, like,
One of my bugbears with MMA as a sport generally is the amount of cost that fighters have to put out on like professional shows with big companies. And I know I'm like targeting any particular company, but the amount of money that you've got to pay to get your coaches, your team, and everyone to the places, and you've got to have like safe MMA certificates and medicals and all this stuff, but you've got to pay for it yourself. And I just think in some ways, like, come on.
Yeah, it's terrible. You're fighting for an organisation that's making money off your back.
Exactly that. And then, obviously, you get your wage or your pay or whatever from your fight. But then you've also got to not only pay for all those things, but you've got to pay your team and pay all that stuff out. And I just think, come on, some of these organisations are like, they're worldwide organisations making millions, billions of dollars.
They expect professionalism. But don't give it.
Yes,
right. So this is again. This is again. As I said, I've been through the sport so long, and like now that I've never had money, I was at work and go through it. It obviously makes you be a stand-up guy. Tell me I'm a stand-up guy. But like now, so if that's the case, it's no fuel money. I'll put it on expenses of the gym.
Yeah.
Or if you need to get a hotel, or they're not offering hotels, I'll get it on the gym that there's a hotel the night before. So my look at it is like I don't take any money off the boys, but they still pay their memberships, and then that does allow me to go after weigh-ins. The gym will pay for all our food. And it's just, I think that's really nice. And they probably obviously a lot of them are thankful for it, of course, but I don't think they realise for me, how nice that is.
Yeah, for someone who didn't have that.
Yeah, to give it back, you know.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like what you're doing is basically what I think the organisations who are making money off fighters' backs should be doing. It's good for you, mate.
I know. I'm sorry, you know.
But it's I 100% understand why you do that.
Yeah.
But it comes back to my original bugbear of like, and you just hit the nail on the head. They expect professionalism, but don't.
Well, so
kind of do it.
Coronavirus. So some shows were still going ahead, but they'd warn you there 5-6 days before.
Do they pay for the hotels and
So they pay for the hotels, but you know, I gotta if I I gotta have a week off of the gym. I gotta have a week off work for one of my students, which is fine because I'm in a good position. If this is my job, but
not all fighters are in that position. So a lot of them have got day jobs, mate.
That's it. So the fighter's got to have
they're losing money.
Oh, yeah, and as well as that, he's got to take a cornerman or 2 cornermen. It was tough time, but you know,
one of them, isn't it?
One of them. Yeah.
So, tell me about Bellator when they contacted you the first time.
Yeah, they contacted me because I was signed with Boyland, and I was running up, and Jude Samuels messaged me. I was like, he said, "Do you want to fight?" Blah, blah, blah. I said, "What? I'm Bellator." He goes, "No." Oh, he said, "Obama." He goes, "No, Bellator." I was like, "Fucking sound, yeah." I checked when my...
You sound like the most easiest person to negotiate with ever. Like,
I really am.
Do you want to fight?
Yeah. I am, because I just like, yeah, I'll ask for more money and stuff like that. But the reality is, they know what they're going to give me. And if I had a manager debating, I might get some more money, but that would go to the manager anyway.
Yeah.
So I just think, well, my job is to stay in this promotion as long as I can and earn as much money from it. And how do I do that? Be professional, turn up on weight, don't make anyone else's life hard, especially the promoter, because I mean they're fucking busy. Yeah. Turn up on weight, make sure everything's above board, then I'm there, no problem, no questions asked.
100%.
Yeah, but I checked my contract with Cage Warriors or Intensity, and it was up that week. Okay. I was like, fuck, meant to be in it. Yeah. So I was like, yes, I did.
They knew, didn't they? Somehow they knew.
Made sure I spoke to Ian Dean and said, look, I've had this offer, I want everything to be above board, and he said, yeah, okay, no, he sent me a end of term sort of contract, and yeah, great, happy days. So it really did rejuvenate my career. Like after the last fight, I rung Jude and said, like, just a quick one to say, you know, cheers for giving me that opportunity, because I wouldn't have been fighting now, you know, and now at a level that I'm earning fucking money, like, yeah. You know, it's finally paying back, you know, cashing in a bit, like.
So like, we won't go like through each fight and stuff. Obviously, your most recent fight in Bellator, was it wasn't a long one.
Yeah.
It was but I think, I know it's hard to be impressive in 43 seconds.
Yeah.
But you was about as impressive as I think you've been, in terms of you just looked so switched on and so focused and so ready.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't live with you.
No, not at all. I mean, I don't want to say every fighter's got doubts. Well, but then I think you should have it. You know, if you're not questioning yourself, like, I know everyone's like, I want this eagle eye mentality. I'm going to kill. It's like, but it's not. You've got them. You've got to be
aware, haven't you, of other person's skills.
And like before the fight, you know, you always like, I was thinking like, oh shit, you know, it's as I always do. You know, nerves kick in and stuff like that. But we had a good game plan, and I was punch him and then choke
him up and choke him out.
Hit him, then choke him fucking dead. The weight cut was perfect. It went exactly as planned. Everything, what we were drilling backstage, everything just went. You wouldn't believe how professional that job was done. And as I said, it translated then into the cage, where it just was such a professional performance.
So, like, obviously, the COVID era, as it were, 2 years, was brutal, and it was hard. But do you think that helped with the focus, the determination, the mentality of, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to show what I can do? I know you think that anyway, fight, but because of the situation that had been created, completely out of your hands and everyone else's hands, do you think that helped with the motivation? Or, like you said, your missus was heavily pregnant?
Yeah.
Or do you think it was just a grand kind of combination of it all?
Well, I think like this. I mean, I was fortunate to have the opportunity to fight.
Yes,
Most people didn't. You know, I had 2-3 fights during lockdown. You know, most people didn't have any opportunity to do anything. You know, so I found myself, being fortunate to do it when I got hundreds of grassroots guys can't do anything.
Yeah, but no amateur fights at all, was there, for the whole?
I could still go and earn money. I could still, I said travel. I couldn't really travel, but just to a different hotel. But you know what I mean. You still a change for the same four walls, So I did count myself lucky that I was able to do that when there's so many people that were thriving for it.
So Bellator finally brought in a ranking system.
Yeah.
I think that was I think everyone agrees that was probably a bit overdue.
Yeah.
Who's next? Like, what's next for Lewis Long? Because you got to be eyeing up those rankings and getting up there, because you're on a 2-fight win streak. Even the one you lost, I can't think we said that off camera, but the one you lost, you got caught with a spinning back fist where you were chasing him as opposed to him. It was like a counter strike, wasn't it?
It's like I don't want to say, but it's like a good way to lose. There's no good way to lose, but it was obvious that it was a flash, and fair enough. I think
a win's a win, innit? But
luck is the remnants of design, is what I say. So he had it in his bank. He's obviously seen it, trained for it, but it was.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
My fight,
Yeah. So you got your eyes on the rankings. I know we can't discuss who.
Yeah.
But where you allowed to discuss the where and when?
Yeah. So 6th of May. Well, I think I am. I'm going to do it anyway. So, you know what I mean? So 6th of May in Paris. So yeah.
Nice. So we talked about obviously in the last couple of years France has unbanned MMA.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you haven't fought in France before.
No.
New experience as well.
Yeah, but again, I mean, we say Wild West, that France must have been such a strange country to train for, because you were allowed, they got high level judo and kickboxing, but no pro MMA.
There's a few good French fighters around as well. So it's not like they weren't producing fighters.
But then they had to travel.
Yeah, to fight
all the time.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? How much has been recorded, how much hasn't?
Yeah, was there any unsanctioned fights going on?
So it's a little bit, again, you can imagine this sort of story of MMA has been quite interesting as well.
That'd be an interesting. One day, someone will make a documentary about French MMA, and they'll have all footage of all the unsanctioned fights and cards which went on. That could be some real good shit.
But in this cool now, I'm fighting on a card with Yoel Morero, I can't say his name, Yoel Romero. Melvin Manhoef, both idols of mine. You got Czech Congo and Beta.
What a card
that's cool, isn't it?
But mate, I gotta be honest, and I'm not saying it just because I think I said it to Danny the other week.
Yeah.
You deserve to be on those cards now because of your performances. You've earned that right to be with those names, and I think of course they're legendary names of MMA. Of course they are, worldwide names as well. But Lewis Long deserves to be in that, on that card and in that on that show, and I think it's going to be interesting, mate, because obviously if you go and put another, put another very good performance on, pick up another win, be interesting where the next conversation. I know you can't look past that fight, but it's going to be very interesting. Because what's the next conversation after that for you?
Yeah, it's got to be top 10, but. At least this isn't a top 10 ranked opponent, but at least this is another fight towards a new contract again. And it's a fight.
How many fights you got left on your?
This one, another 3, but they'll negotiate after 2. I'll pull this guy. I mean, my A game is a lot better than his A game, I believe. Okay. I believe his sort of style, stuff like that is again old. It's very single dimensional, ripping out of stuff. His jiu-jitsu level. Wrestling level is one-dimensional, and unfortunately for him, mine isn't. Well, it is. Hit you in the face and take you back, but
like we've talked about already, the wide range of skills you've got at a high level. So I look at it from someone on the outside as if I'm a fighter coming to face someone like yourself.
Yeah.
I don't want to be going in there almost like as an old style MMA fighter who's very good at one thing and capable at some of the other stuff, Because if I'm going in against someone like yourself or any fighter whose all-round game is between great and exceptional, I know I'm going to struggle unless I catch them with, if I'm striking. And
what I like about my game now is this: I've always trained as a stand-up fighter. Like, I said, for kickboxing, but you go to fight me, and I got like 9 rear naked chokes. You're worrying about what I'm going to do. I'm not worrying about what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I'm just going to train to beat you in the best way I can. You're already defending something. So, you know what I mean? In my mind, your set's already tailored around defending. So you're accepting the fact I'm going to get it.
Yeah. You're just trying to stop you.
Yeah. I like that. Your time is not wasted, but to me, mine is more focused on just filling you in.
Interesting. I like it though. What's so when you look at the people who are in Bellator now, is there like one sort of dream fight in there where you're like, I want that fight before I'm done?
Yeah, basically, I want Naeem Gracie. I want to fight that Naeem Gracie. He lost his last fight to Rick Storley. I think both of them just didn't engage in the grappling match. But I reckon I can tap him out. And I just want to prove it. That's all. But I think fates could align now, because he's lost that one, I'll win this one, and it sort of puts us in
collision course.
The sort of top 10. When he's come down, he was like 4th or 5th, so he'll drop a bit, I'll come out a bit, and we're there, sort of
ready to go.
And I might definitely biased, but I don't see a better sort of match.
Styles make fights, like
I spoke to one of my students. He's like, but Lou, you'd stand with him, wouldn't you? If there's a better route to victory, you're gonna stand with him. Like, but
so
again, here's the management.
I was going to say, here's the thing: if one of your fighters was fighting him, you'd tell him to stand, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But I already can tell by your thing, you want to grapple with him to test yourself and to tap him out.
Yeah. This is why it's
do as I say, don't do as I do.
That's why it's a funny game, isn't it?
Yeah.
But,
I like it, mate. I like it a lot.
That fight, just play as it comes in. You start on your feet and see how it goes.
It's going to be brutal, mate. It's going to be interesting. So, what I like to do to finish off these shows is I ask a question, and everyone interprets it differently. Everyone got a different answer, which is why I like it. So, Lewis Long, what is the meaning of life?
Drink Stella, bang bitches.
Beautiful. Love that.
Only my missus, of course.
Yeah. Hi, Mrs. Long.
She won't watch all of this.
Just better hope she watched the first bit and not the last bit.
Just put it as the caption.
It's going to be the title of the fucking show. Yeah.
It's fun.
Going to cut it and put it on an Insta story.
I don't care, really. She'll laugh. But my mate has got it.
I am going to put it on an Insta story, though, because it's just beautiful.
I don't mind. She'll laugh. But my mate's got a tattoo of a quote I've said, and it's like, if I want a pint of fucking Stella, I'll have a pint of Stella. And that's again for being in like a fight camp and your head's going. I think if you think a pint of Stella's going to stop you, chill you out, have a pint of Stella. So have it, chill out. I'm
going to have drink Stella, bang bitches. I'm going to have that tattooed on my arm with the Ace Podcast Nation bag. I just literally just decided now.
I will as well.
yeah, that's it. We'll start a revolution. Everyone can get them. Yes, I like it. Guys, this has been Lewis Long and his story. Check out his fight, May the 6th in Paris, Bellator MMA versus person. He's going to win. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great card.
We call him DFC now. Dead French cunt.
There we go. DFC.
DFC.
So by the time this goes out, the Bellator card, which is this Friday, is going to be done and dusted.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to ask you, Brett Johns, Scott Pedersen, fellow Welshman.
Fucking love them both.
Going to smash it up?
Yeah, better have, man. I said I got a lot of Scotty had a few fights under me to start his career. And Brett used to be on the judo mat together, so it's a long-rooted history for us all, and just proud of them, I really want them to do well, really, really do.
I was so happy for Brett when he signed with Bellator because I felt like UFC disrespected him a little bit. because he come back after a long layoff, fought Tony Gravely, and I thought he was exceptional in that fight.
Yeah.
And like when you look at what Tony Gravely's gone on to do, he's had some really good performances, and like Brett beat him. And I just felt like they disrespected him a little bit, like just assumed he was going to re-sign, and they didn't, kind of lowballed him and stuff. Bellator come along and said, "We like you, we want you." Good for him.
Happy days,
and I'm happy to see more Welshmen in Bellator, because sometimes I feel like Cage, it's not a bad thing. Cage Warriors is almost like a feeder system, isn't it, for UFC at this point, which is, again, not a bad thing. It's good for British fighters, Welsh fighters, to be able to go to Cage Warriors, fight high-level guys, and then if they do well, they naturally go to the UFC. That's good. But also, Bellator's a worldwide organisation.
People need to see there's other routes.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And you look how many Irish fighters are in Bellator at the moment fighting.
Yeah.
I want to see some Welsh guys on there, because I feel like there's a lot of Welsh guys who, if they're not going to get the opportunity in Cage Warriors, let's see them on or UFC. Let's get them in Bellator, because I feel like they can really make a splash.
Yeah, 100%. And I like how Bellator do sign one-fight deals with people like Scotty and stuff. Yeah, just
because most fighters, young fighters particularly, all they want is a chance. And I think how many times if you offer someone a one-fight deal on a big show and say, "Go show me what you got," they'll go out and they'll bang. You give someone a 4-fight deal, they sometimes can take a bit of time to ease into it. Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%.
Whereas if you've got something on the line, you're going to be your best self. Not that you wouldn't be your best self for a 4-fight, but you know what I mean.
It's the opportunity. You got to rise to it. And that's what I like about the Bellator, that they will sign a couple of people on 1-fight deals and get it. Yeah, I think it's
show us what you can do. Right, guys, check out awaydayapparel.co.uk. Use the codes AA Podcast Nation, 10% off, and they got all sorts of quality gear, t-shirts, caps, and whatnot. Check them out, please. And of course, Violent Money. I won't show you my boxer shorts, but I also have Violent Money boxer shorts on.
You got to show us your shaved balls.
Yeah, shaved balls. Violent Money boxers. There you go. And you can use the code. I got codes coming out my ears. You can get 20% off with Ace Nation, I think it is, on. It's all in the description below. And Jamie will put in all sorts of editing, and there'll be codes everywhere, discounts everywhere. Away Day Apparel, Manscaped, Violent Money, ExpressVPN, get it all. As always, it's a pleasure. Lewis Long.
Slam it.
Wicked.
Bye.